Scoot Henderson was hailed as the next great point guard, with elite athleticism and a 6.9 wingspan, but his development has stalled, with concerning performance trends and a lack of progress on the court. From physical limitations to system issues, the challenges are finally starting to pile up. But is this a temporary setback or the start of something more troubling? From the moment Scoot Henderson burst onto the high school basketball scene, the hype was astronomical. Coaches, scouts, and fans marveled at his combination of speed, strength, and court vision. At just 17, his athletic prowess was compared to some of the great point guards in history. His 6'2" frame paired with a 6.9 wingspan gave him a unique physical advantage that few could match. Analysts projected that his style of play might revolutionize the point guard position, blending the quickness of guards like John Wall with the size and power of a big man. Before the season even began, media narratives were ablaze with predictions that Henderson would be the second coming of D'Angelo Russell or even John Wall. There was talk of him potentially being a generational talent, a player who could anchor a franchise for years. Such expectations were cemented by viral highlight reels showing him tackling defenders, launching deep threes, and finishing at the rim with ease. Yet beneath this veneer of unstoppable potential, cracks began to form. Scouts praised his raw talent, but also noted that his game lacked polish in key areas. They pointed out concerns about his shot selection, decision-making under pressure, and ability to adapt to various in-game situations. While these criticisms are typical for a rookie, the level of expectation on Henderson was so high that even minor shortcomings were amplified by the media. As Henderson transitioned from high school hype to professional expectations, the pressure mounted. Everyone assumed that his prodigious talent would translate into immediate success. But reality often diverges from projections. The spotlight that once celebrated every athletic highlight soon turned to scrutinizing his struggles. The world watched as his rookie season unfolded, and although there were flashes of brilliance, his performance started raising concerns among observers who remembered the lofty promises made about him. Scoot Henderson entered the NBA with a reputation for electrifying play and an almost magical ability to make difficult plays look easy. Analysts expected him to be a cornerstone of his team, someone who could dramatically change the fortunes of a struggling franchise. However, his rookie season was rocky, not quite matching the high expectations that surrounded him. During his first year, Henderson averaged around 14 points and 5 assists per game. While these numbers aren't bad for a young player adjusting to the professional level, they fell short compared to the hype. His shooting percentages hovered around 38% from the field and 32% from three, figures that disappointed many who believed he'd be a game changer. High turnovers and inconsistent decision-making further marred his early play. These issues raised questions. Was it just a normal learning curve, or was something fundamentally wrong? Fast forward to his sophomore season, and the situation appears even more concerning. Henderson is now playing on one of the worst teams in the league, a scenario that should have provided him ample opportunities to showcase improvement. Instead, his season averages, roughly 11 points and 5 assists with shooting splits similar to his rookie numbers, suggest not progress, but stagnation or even regression. The expectation was that with another year of experience, he would refine his skills, improve his shot selection, and become more consistent. Instead, his performance metrics reveal that the gaps in his game might be larger than initially believed. This persistent lack of improvement is alarming for a player of his caliber. A young guard like Scoot is expected to adapt, learn, and grow quickly in the NBA. The fact that his stats haven't improved over a season and may have even dipped signals deeper issues. His inability to elevate his game could stem from physical limitations, inadequate coaching, or a misfit within team systems that haven't allowed his talents to flourish. It's not merely about bad games, it's about a concerning pattern that suggests his development has stalled. This discrepancy between early expectations and current performance begs the question, where did things go wrong? Was it the pressure of high expectations, a flawed development environment in the G League, or perhaps the system he's placed in just isn't conducive to unlocking his full potential? In the following sections, we'll analyze these aspects one by one, diving deeper into the struggles that have seemingly derailed Scoot Henderson's upward trajectory. One glaring issue with Scoot Henderson is his inefficient shooting. Despite his hype as a versatile scorer, he has struggled with shot selection. In many games, he attempts shots beyond his effective range or takes low percentage jumpers in cluttered situations. This tendency results in a lower shooting percentage and interrupts the flow of the offense. Being a point guard known for his speed and athleticism, one would expect him to finish strong at the rim, but defenses have shown that he struggles to convert these drives against experienced big men. His decision-making under pressure is another area of concern. High turnover rates accompany his ball handling, as he often forces passes in tight spots or makes erratic decisions when double-teamed. These turnovers not only kill offensive momentum, but also reflect an inability to read the defense effectively. For a guard expected to run an offense, poor decision-making can be particularly damaging. Defensively, Henderson's limitations add another layer to his struggles. He uses his length and quickness to pressure ball handlers, but he often faces mismatches against quicker, more skilled guards. He sometimes overcommits, leaving gaps in the rotation that opponents can exploit. His defensive awareness, though promising at times, hasn't consistently translated into impactful plays like steals or forced turnovers. This underwhelming defensive output reduces his value as a two-way guard, which was one of his touted strengths. These technical flaws suggest that Henderson hasn't fully grasped the nuances of NBA-level basketball. The transition from raw athleticism to a polished professional skill set is challenging, and his inability to improve shooting efficiency, decision-making, and defense raises questions. It appears that the high expectations based on his athletic profile may have overshadowed some fundamental gaps in his game. Coupled with these on-court struggles is the mental pressure of living up to a legendary status. Constant scrutiny, soaring expectations, and the weight of hype can affect focus and confidence. If Henderson feels he must always perform at an extraordinary level due to his early acclaim, the stress could lead to rushed decisions and a reluctance to adapt. All these factors combined illustrate why his performance hasn't lived up to the skyrocketing expectations set during his rise. Scoot Henderson made headlines by joining the G League Ignite program at just 17, an unprecedented move designed to fast-track elite prospects into professional basketball.
Henderson, pull-up jumper, short, King again, offensive rebound, back to Scoot, oh baby!
Young players.
They were down by as much as 22 points in that first half. Mohamed King!
So it's 59-49. Here's Henderson out front, got it.
The Ignite program promised an alternative to college, offering top-tier training, professional experience, and financial incentives. The idea was that young players would mature faster by facing professional-level competition earlier than traditional routes would allow. However, Henderson's journey through the Ignite program has been a mixed bag. While the program boasts success stories like Jonathan Kuminga and Jalen Green, it has also struggled to provide a one-size-fits-all developmental path. The Ignite system focuses on showcasing raw talent, pushing athletes to perform at high volumes, and preparing them for the spotlight, but it may lack the personalized coaching needed to refine individual weaknesses. For Scoot, joining Ignite meant playing against peers of similar age and potential rather than against seasoned veterans. While this environment amplifies his athleticism and potential flashes, it might not sufficiently simulate the challenges of an NBA-level defense. The differences in intensity, speed, and physicality between the G League and the NBA are significant, and limited exposure to the highest level of competition can stall a player's adaptation process. Moreover, the rapid transition from high school to the G League may have rushed his development. The focus on immediate exposure and impressive statistics could overshadow the necessary time for technical refinement and mental adjustment. The lack of a structured progression, where he might have received targeted guidance on shot selection or decision-making, likely contributed to the stagnation seen in his NBA performances. In essence, while the Ignite program offered him a platform to shine and quick entry into professional basketball, it may have inadvertently neglected the deeper, more nuanced development required to excel long-term. The system highlighted his raw potential, but fell short of molding him into a consistently effective NBA player. Henderson's ongoing struggles suggest that bridging the gap between raw athletic talent and polished professional skill remains an unmet challenge. Scoot Henderson's physical gifts once set him apart: height, length, speed, and agility that promised a game-changing point guard. Yet in practice, raw athleticism can only carry a player so far. Despite his unique 6'2" frame combined with a 6'9" wingspan, he has faced significant hurdles in translating these measurements into sustainable NBA success. His finishing ability, for instance, has been underwhelming. While his size and athleticism should help help him dominate at the rim, Henderson often finds himself contested by strong, experienced defenders. He struggles to convert drives into high-percentage shots, frequently forcing awkward layups or pull-up jumpers that defenders can block. This reveals a gap between his expected prowess and the reality of facing top-tier rim protectors. Moreover, his shooting fundamentals have not developed as projected. For a guard expected to stretch defenses and create scoring opportunities, a three-point percentage of 31% is concerning. Teams anticipate a certain level of efficiency from players of his potential, especially on spot-up shots or transition finishes. When a talent like Henderson fails to meet those expectations, it narrows his roles and reduces his impact. Defensively, while his size and length are advantages, his lateral quickness and basketball IQ seem to lag behind what his athletic profile suggests. He often gets beat by quicker guards or fails to anticipate passes, leading to turnovers. This defensive inconsistency means he can't fully exploit his physical gifts without further refinement. Additionally, the mental aspect of his game appears to be a stumbling block. The enormous expectations set on his shoulders from a young age might have created a pressure cooker environment. If he doubts his ability to adapt or handles criticism poorly, his decision-making on the court suffers. Physical limitations aside, his game is marred by these intertwined technical and psychological challenges. Scoot Henderson's career challenges have been compounded by his team environments, particularly his brief stint with the Portland Trail Blazers. Arriving in Portland after Dame Lillard's departure, expectations were high. Henderson was to fill a void at point guard, embodying flashy athleticism and unselfish play. The Blazers handed him significant responsibilities from day one, hoping his talents would catalyze a transition. However, the fit wasn't seamless. The Blazers' system at the time leaned heavily on shooters and consistent ball movement. Henderson's erratic shot selection and turnover-prone decision-making clashed with a coaching philosophy that demanded efficiency and discipline. Additionally, the pressure to fill big shoes left him with little room for error, exacerbating his struggles. Coaching decisions and team chemistry affected his confidence. If a player doesn't feel supported or well utilized, it can hinder their development. For Scoot, being thrown into a system that didn't play to his strengths likely stunted his growth further. Instead of gradually easing into professional play, he was expected to deliver star-level performances immediately, resulting in frustration and visible deterioration of his game. His lack of adaptability to varying roles, whether starting or coming off the bench, also highlighted his issues. Teams value players who can adjust their style based on team needs, but Henderson's style remained unchanged despite coaching feedback. This rigidity limited his impact on the floor and likely contributed to his stagnant statistics. Looking ahead, the question remains, can Scoot Henderson overcome his challenges, or is his time as a top prospect fading away? At 19, he still has years to improve, but the window for a breakout is narrowing. For Henderson to realize his potential, he must address several key areas. First, he needs to refine his shot selection. Lowering the number of inefficient shots and focusing on higher percentage opportunities will not only improve his shooting percentages, but also build trust among coaches. Working with shooting coaches and studying game film to understand when to take tough shots could help him break bad habits. Second, decision-making under pressure must improve. Reducing turnovers and making smarter plays will elevate his overall impact. Drills that simulate high-pressure scenarios in practice, combined with mentorship from veteran point guards, might offer guidance. Gaining confidence through consistent execution will be crucial. Third, Henderson must embrace his defensive responsibilities. Being an undersized guard at 6'2" requires relentless effort and a willingness to play tough, gritty defense. Developing a disciplined defensive stance, learning to anticipate opponents' moves, and working on lateral quickness could mitigate some of his defensive liabilities. Physically, building strength and stamina will help him finish at the rim and compete against bigger defenders. Engaging with strength and conditioning coaches to optimize his training regimen can help him fulfill the expectations tied to his athletic profile. Mentally, adjusting to the intense scrutiny and high expectations will be vital. Accepting constructive criticism without taking it personally, maintaining focus on growth rather than headlines, and building resilience through setbacks are key components of his development. Scoot Henderson's trajectory from a hyped high school star to an underwhelming NBA prospect highlights the harsh realities of professional basketball. Viral hype and raw athleticism can capture attention, but sustaining a career requires adaptability, refined skills, and the right team fit. While challenges remain, inefficient shooting, poor decision-making, defensive limitations, there's still time for Henderson to recalibrate. With focused development, supportive coaching, and a realistic understanding of his role, hopeful he can overcome these obstacles. The next few seasons will be crucial to determine if he can finally live up to his promise. But let us know your thoughts down below, and if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to catch our next ones shown on screen.